To your efforts, the U.S. economy is the best positioned in the world and capital is flowing in. Efforts to reprioritize economic security are ensuring the United States remains secure, resilient, and prepared for the challenges ahead. As we approach the 250th anniversary, America will never be safer and more secure militarily and economically. Thank you.
I just want to ask you a question. Is this guy central casting? I'm looking at him. I'm in Treasury. He might not be so good for war. I don't know. No, I'm looking pretty good too. I'm looking at this guy. He's central casting. Even the glasses are perfect. Where do you get those glasses? I think I'm going to get glasses like that. That's beautiful. Great job. That's really good. No, he's done a great job. And you all have, proud of you all. Do you have any questions?
Yes, Mr. President, are you going to go in for the uranium? Like, how do you secure Iran and...
Let's assume I was or I wasn't. Why would I ever answer a question?
Can you accomplish
What kind of a question? Am I going to go in for the... Oh, yeah, I'm going in. We're going in tomorrow at 3 o'clock. How could you possibly ask a question like that and expect an answer? I don't know. But I don't know. I think you're a friendly person, too. It's just such a ridiculous question.
Mr. President, yes, Mr. President.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's been a report that potentially the U.S. is looking at diverting some munitions, air defenses that were meant for Ukraine to the Middle East. Is there any accuracy to that? Is that something you're considering?
Well, I'd have to ask me, but we do that all the time. You know, we have tremendous amounts of ammunition. We have them in other countries, like in Germany and all over Europe. We have, you know, we're packed. And sometimes we take from one and we use for another. We helped Ukraine. Biden started and he gave $350 billion away. Too much, way too much. And we sell it now to NATO. We sell it to NATO and they probably give it to Ukraine. Mostly, I think, they give it to Ukraine. But we get paid for everything that we give. We don't give anything anymore. That's a tough situation, that whole Ukraine situation. Very, very tough. We're working very hard on getting that one solved. It doesn't have any impact on us, virtually nothing. In fact, if anything, I mean, we sell a lot of equipment for that unfortunate war. 25,000 people died last month, 25,000, mostly soldiers, some in the town.
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of greatness, so not do well. Salutation to the Yaki, I'm preaching the truth to the four corners of the youth in sincerity. This is Brother Yakal commentator on a lesson, Lord's will and be edifying through the Spirit. Right, and going off of what we just saw, you know, Trump saying on a live interview, right, he was going into praising one of the reporters for telling him that, you know, America is going to be the safest it's ever been economically and monetary wise. Money is coming in, you know, all these good stuff, because this is what they allow. This is what the media wants you to see, so that they could train the brain of the people, you know, keep them in a mindset where, you know, everything is fine, everything is great, just, you know, keep believing on us, right? And that's going to take you into Isaiah, the 30th chapter and 1. Right? It says, Isaiah 30 and 1, it says, Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right? Because really and truly, they trying to train people to believe in them while they crashing, while they going down. You know, the Lord already promised that He's not good. This time there is no healing. You know, around the Renaissance time, when the America they healed themselves, the scripture say, and that deadly wound was healed. Let's see if I get that. Alright, that's the book of Revelation. It's Revelation chapter 13 and verse 12. I'll read from 11. Right, Revelation 13 and 11. And it say, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right? Now, their wound was healed. And they come back better, and the scripture tell them that they were more diverse than the rest. So they come back better, and they they build the economy, and they build the monetary system, and they made trades with all the other nations due to traffic, due to slaves. The scripture mentioned that. They tell you about it. They tell you the great possessions that they had, right? Because that is a gift, the fatness of the earth and the sword. So they use the sword, the military might, and they use the lion. Because the scripture said they deceive the whole earth, right? They use great deception and the sword to get what they want. Now, when they get what they want, and they may trade it with all these nations, they come in and do what they want. As you see Trump saying, he say, we could just go in and we could take it anyhow. We could just go in and we could use it anyways. You understand? They blatantly come out and say these things. So that they exercise the power, and they do it proudly. Scripture call them thou most proud. Right? Now when you understand all this, you understand that they came back, the deadly wound was healed. But then now, in this time, the Lord is saying here, this is the book of Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 9. Can you even read? I'll read from 1 to 9. Because there's points, right? Jeremiah 51 and 1. It says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. Which is what? My ICBM missiles. These missiles of other nations are destroying wind. It says, I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. Right? Because when you fan a fire, what happens is the fire increases. So the other nations are the fanners. Right? That shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. They're going to be circle against her, right? It says, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. Right? Because America, they are the ones that bend it. Now the archer is bending a bow against them, all the other nations. They reference a bow and arrow to the nuclear weapons and the silos that it being shot from, right? So it says, against him that lifted up himself in his brigandine, right, which is what his missile defense system is, his weapons, his drones, his everything. Our brigandine go back to like armor, right? He lifted up himself, he boosted in it. We are the strongest military in the world. You understand? That is how they speak. We're going to continue, and it says, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Alright, thus said the slain, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, another name for America, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel had been forsaken, nor Judah Salak. Verse 5, read it, take my time and read it. For Israel had not been forsaken, nor Judah, the Lord didn't forsake us, right? Of his power, which is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, of the Lord of hosts, which is the Lord of armies, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Yeah, though we were sinning, the Lord did not forget us. Verse 6, it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So this guy saying that America is the strongest it has ever been. And this is all a facade. Who they trying to fool? Really the masses, really the people to not be in a panic. But there's a lot of people that making videos and they understand that we are in shit. They say America pissed off Iran, America pissed off, and they want to flee. A lot of people fleeing actually. Right? Let me see if I can get the article here real quick. Right, so I have a thing here where I search. As the search was how much people has left America due to the war that started in Iran. And what I got was, it says based on reports from early March 2026, over 43,000 American citizens left the Middle East, right? But this is not what I was looking for. Right, so I did over a search because it was giving many people, the Americans leaving leaving from Iran, but that is not the case, right? So it says here, based on reports from early 2026, the United States is experiencing a record wave of immigration, with more people leaving the country than moving in for the first time since 1935. Right? It says an analysis found that at least 180,000 American citizens left the U.S. to live abroad in 2025. Right? Continuing, let me see. So a lot of people is leaving. And the reasons for why they're leaving is for war. You understand? We understand that war is brewing and people not feeling safe in their own country. So they're going all over the place. They're going to Mexico. They're going all over because they fear that something is going to happen to America. Now something is going to happen to America, but in due time. You understand? That land of opportunity. People so trusting, and the scriptures say that. Right? Because prophecy is circling around this war right now. Economically and physically with the war. Right? It bringing so much out of prophecies to light. It bringing out a lot of prophecies to light. But taking it in and understanding it. Right now, because this video wasn't really intended to be long, but I just spotted Trump on a live and a court at the same time when he said that America has been the greatest. And the Lord said, I believe it was 9, I didn't have to read it. I'll read verse 8 first, right? I'll read 7. I'll read verse 7, right? This is Jeremiah 51:7. It says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So Babylon had been a golden cup in the land of opportunity, the land where you go to get jobs. There's a lot of different opportunities to go, right? But that is no longer the case right now. It's pain and heartache. People fleeing. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her, if so be she may be healed. Now this is the Lord sense of humor taunting them. Take balm, you take balm when you're sick. Right? Take balm for her. Right? Verse 9, it says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So before it says that deadly wound was healed, but now we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? So this is the thing here. The judgment of Babylon time. So the judgment of Babylon time is near. And they're trying to take as much as people are possible with them. Right? That is what's going on right now. They see how much people could go with them via what? The MOTB being established. Because when the MOTB is established, and we finally see what the Lord was talking about with the eyes. So a lot of us going to experience these prophecies happening with the eyes. Things that the prophets are would I want to see with their eyes. But it wasn't for their time, it was for this time here, in our time. Right, where we're gonna see the MOTB being established, and then the Lord prophecy is taking place where the boils are all these things that are gonna happen to the people them that take the MOTB. We're gonna witness it. And they're gonna manifest our boldness. Because we're gonna be more bold now knowing that we didn't take it. You understand? Just like the COVID-19, we understood that we wasn't to take that, and we didn't. And they that take it felt. A lot of people died. Let me just sum it up at that. A lot of people died, and no, it's not the MOTV, but it's like a trial run. So they trusted in that, and then what? Trouble and destruction. Right? What scripture is that? They trusted in that. Or go back in Isaiah 31st chapter. Isaiah 31:1, where it says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots." Which is what? Egypt to slavery, bondage, Babylon, America. You're going for them to help the leaders. You trust in whatever country you're from, that under Babylon, and has that democracy. Right? It says, "And stay on horses and trust in chariots," which is their armies and their tankers and police force, all this stuff. It says, "Because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not upon the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord." Right? So, and there's a judgment for that, because the Lord is a jealous power. So you trust in the police or the government, anything more than him, he's jealous. He's going to show you why you shouldn't trust them, why it should be destroyed. Right? Therefore, I always bring it out. He didn't believe, therefore he would not be defended. Right? Right, why reach? Right, verse 2. It says, "Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words." Just like the scriptures say, as rain fall from heaven, so the word of the Lord come down and does not return void. Void go back into empty. They're not going to just come on the face of the earth. We're not going to just preach and nothing will happen. Something is always going to happen. Because to be a prophet is to say things before it happens. That's what it means in a prophecy. Right? So continuing, it says, "He will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers," which is Esau, Edom, "and against the help of them that work iniquity." Verse 3. "Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit, like the chariots. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is holpen shall fall down, and they shall fail together." And this is what's going to happen when I'm on verse 6. No, verse 6. Let me see. Alright, let me get that. And where's Isaiah 36? Can Isaiah 36 so? And verse 6 it says, "Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed," which is the system. America, Trinidad, whatever country you may be from that has this democracy and this following. You trusted in it. You trusted it. You work so hard. You have your NIS, your social security. You're waiting for that payback. You're committed to this job. You're dedicated to this work. You're not study. You never think in your head like how the men of the Lord would think that, alright, how about Shai is in control, and we're gonna lose all this one day. You're gonna lose your house, your car, all the things that you're used to. But the scripture also says that here we have no continuing city, because all these things will be trodden down and trodden under. Right? So we don't look at it as having a continuing city here, but it's temporal. Right? So now it says, the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, wherein if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. And that's what they're coming with. They're coming with that piercing in your hand or in your forehead, which we know is the MOTB. Right? So you trust in Egypt, but then they come to get a piercing. Go ahead, it says, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Right? That's what they're coming with. They're coming with that mark of the beast. And they're trying to make everybody believe in them still. And they're going on the news. We destroyed all Iranian this, all Iranian that. They are obliterated. You look up the meaning of obliterated, it says leaving nothing left. But then, why they still defending themselves? Why is other news besides the news that comes out of America making it look like Trump did nothing? And he only did about a very little. You understand? So, this is the whole point. The war bell's never gonna stop ringing. You them stuck in their pride. That is the title for this lesson. Lord willing, until that I find through the spirit and power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakodash, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and rule well, salutation to the Aki and preaching the truth, to the four corners of the 18th century. Shalom.